Given the amount we hear about ongoing wars and the threat of terrorism, it seems like a surprise to hear someone say this is the most peaceful era in history.
It does feel like a bit of a surprise, but Harvard professor Steven Pinker explains that controversial theory in his new book, The Better Angels of Our Nature, and he joins us this morning. Nice to have you with us.
Good morning.
So you make the case this is the most peaceful time. Why? I mean, it certainly doesn't feel that way when you turn on the news.
It sure doesn't, because it's a world of 7 billion people, and violence certainly hasn't gone down to zero. And of course, what the news media do is they cover the violence wherever it does occur. And all those parts of the world that used to be far bloodier than they are now, Vietnam and Angola and Nicaragua, there aren't camera crews there filming all the people who aren't dying of violence, who are dying of old age. And so if you don't look at the numbers, you can get a misleading impression.
So that's what it is. It's the impression, and also because we know more these days. Obviously, with each generation, you have such better access to information and communication that...
Absolutely. Not only can we send a helicopter with a film crew to any trouble spot in the world, but now anyone with a cell phone is an instant reporter. They can broadcast color footage of bloodshed wherever it occurs, and so we're very aware of it.
There's other reasons as well, though. You say that we're no longer obsessed with a culture of honor. What does that mean?
This is the idea that to be a man, you have to retaliate against any insult with violence. And that's the way you defend yourself. Now, it makes a lot of sense in an environment that ruled by anarchy, that is, where you can't dial 911, you can't press a lawsuit. It's only your reputation for toughness that prevents you from being a punching bag. And sometimes it can be carried over even when there is an effective government and people still feel that they have to defend themselves with their fists or guns.
But the 20th century, I mean, in terms of making the case for peace, Stalin, Hitler, al-Bashir now, Milosevic, it seemed like a relatively violent era. Well,
there certainly were some violent decades in the 20th century. We've got to keep in mind that there were some violent decades in earlier centuries as well. The European wars of religion, the Mongol invasions, there were really bloody episodes. And the 20th century, of course, has 100 years, and the second half of the 20th century has been unusual in how little warfare there has been in the old-fashioned sense of two armies fighting on a battlefield. And if you look at rate of death in warfare since World War II, it's been a jagged trajectory downward.
So the title of your book is The Better Angels of Our Nature. Give us all an idea. What specifically are the better angels?
Yes, well, I stole the phrase from Abraham Lincoln, and it refers to the parts of human nature that pull us away from violence. There's been this long debate, are humans basically violent or basically peaceful? And the answer, of course, is both. And the parts of human nature that pull us away from violence, our better angels, include things like self-control. If you're insulted, maybe you count to 10 instead of whipping out your dagger.
Right.
Empathy, you feel other people's pain. Reason, you, instead of thinking of every contest as something you have to win, you think, well, how can we both get out of this and solve the problem of the contest we're now in, instead of prevailing at all costs?
Great to have you with us.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming by this morning.
Professor Steven Pinker, thank you very much.